guys my age would probably have the same story at the start, which is that we saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan when we were little kids. I think I was 6 or so, and it just changed my life, changed the world, really. And I played music before that because I played piano. I started when I was about 3 because my brother played piano and he was older than me, so I wanted to kind of copy him. And I liked the piano. And then, of course, when the Beatles showed up, it's all about guitar. And I switched over. And really, from that point on, I have played music. I've never not known what I wanted to do. I wanted to write songs. I have music inside my blood, and when you have music in your blood, you kind of can't get rid of it. It's kind of a curse and kind of a blessing.
Right.
So I followed the path of whatever it took. I mean, I wrote music all through high school. I had a band, and we did all original music, and it was quite complex music. This is in an era when, Genesis and Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer and those groups were really popular. And I really was attracted to that music because it combined my classical sensibility with my pop sensibilities and kind of into an interesting mixture. Strangely enough, I went on to produce Emerson, Lake and Palmer later in my career. So it's very weird how all this, and Yes. So it's very weird how all this stuff happened, but I eventually found my way, and it's interesting you bring it up because the director who gave me my biggest break was the director that did Twister, and Jan de Bont, and he gave me my break on Speed, which was a $30 million picture, which is small by some means, and he really took a chance on me doing it. He somehow knew I would be the right choice. I don't know how, but he believed in me, and that really set the stage for my movie career. That's where I kind of got credibility because that movie was, and is still revered by a lot of people and a lot of directors as just a real watershed action movie. So, and the score was unique. It was a different kind of score. And,
so what did Jan de Bont see in you, considering you had never done a film?
I've asked him that. I saw him not that long ago. They did an anniversary of Speed, and we did a little talk at a music store, a record store at Los Angeles. I couldn't believe how many people turned out for it. And I asked him that question. I said, Jan, I mean, I was in Hans Zimmer's studio, so I had some credibility because I was working with Hans, and that helped. But they had already hired Michael Kamen for Speed, and I still to this day don't understand why Jan thought, no, I want this guy to do it instead of Michael Kamen. But he got rid of Michael Kamen, who's a great composer, was a fantastic person and composer, and I felt really weird, but I got the job, and I lived and breathed it, and it really took off. And so, when Jan said, I have my next movie, and I'll never forget this. I went to his office and looked at a little bit of footage. And then he flew me to, I want to say Omaha. I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly where they filmed, but wherever they were filming, they flew me out there on the set. And I'll never forget it because they had these gigantic propellers blowing, they had a truck, the red truck, and underneath the truck with a camera fastened to the truck as it was going 60 miles an hour is Jan de Bont, filming upside down. And I just thought, what a maniac this guy is. He's out of his mind. But it was really fun, and the whole movie was really fun. It was such a good movie, and I got to explore some different ways to go, and it was a really enjoyable experience. Speed was kind of terrifying. I enjoyed it, but it was terrifying because it was really my first. I kept thinking any day I'm going to be fired. But by the time I did Twister, I was pretty confident, and I felt like I was doing some cool stuff. So.
Yeah, fear normally motivates you to do great things, or it completely takes you in the other direction. And
yes,
on the note of Speed, I have to tell you, I mean, I know you know this, but I'm just telling you this. To this day, that theme dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
And the movie itself hasn't aged at all. At all. It is such a fantastic action film with such a great concept. And I watched the trailer recently, just to kind of see how the trailer was done. And it makes it look like, one of the things I noticed was Jeff Daniels' role was like, huge, even though, we know what happens to his character.
Right.
And it's such a great film. And that one scene that never leaves my mind is which I'm pretty sure a lot of people, the baby stroller. When the bus hit the baby stroller, and it just, your heart in your mouth. And even if I know now it's going to happen, I still cringe. Like, what? But
yes, I love that, and I have a 21-year-old daughter, so when she was about 16, I showed her Speed, and I hadn't seen it forever, and yeah, I felt the same way. I felt like, man, this really holds up. It's really fun. I love the elevator sequence. To start that movie with that whole elevator thing is so anti the bus, right? It's a still thing. It's thing that's stuck, whereas the bus is going. So it's like, it was such a great way to start the movie.
Yeah. And Mark, how did you let's go back a little bit before Speed. You were working with Hans. How did you work on his team or in his office or whatever that was? How did you make that transition into the score world, in Hans Zimmer's world?
Well, what happened, so I had a little studio in my house, very small, and I was always, as I told you, since I was 12, I was writing songs, so I always have material. I still have CDs full of my music recorded in garages with bands, and I have all of it. It's amazing I still have it, but by that time I was, writing for myself as an artist, and I had an LA producer. His name is John